Hello, everybody. My name is Rin Tin Tin. You know I'm twice as nice. Welcome to another episode of the Drop Hip Hop Uncensored. Welcome to the Republic of Hip Hop. Today, I have with me multi-award-winning, multilingual, hottest kid in the street, hottest kid in the booth. I have a touchline. Hi.
What's good?
It's all good. How are you?
I'm
Like, nice.
Thank you.
I
man.
like the steez.
Thank you so much.
You look very proper.
It's winter. It's our fun about hot season. It's our fun about hot season because it's winter. Because we have to fight the cold. So, yeah, I'm here.
You're doing
Thank
the
you
things.
so much.
It's a pleasure. Now, I want to start like this. When did hip hop choose you? Because I feel like you're one of the chosen ones in hip hop.
Well, thank you. Years ago, it was, I think, 2008 when I decided. I was like, damn, I really want to be somebody that speaks on the mic and speaks to people. Yeah, well. So, yeah, man, it was. I was there. I was in school, and I always wanted to. At first, obviously, when people know that already. But there was always this thing that kept on telling me, man,
Calling something else.
Yeah,
You have a calling somewhere else. Now, speaking of you playing soccer, that's where you got your name, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Touchline. And then, I don't know if people know this, but you won a dance competition to dance for Carrie Hilson as well. So,
yeah.
Tell me, how did the transition go from soccer star, because you were like a budding soccer player, to a dancer, to now I'm gonna call you creative and an artist, because I feel like you are a songwriter but yet you're also a rapper. So what was the transition like from saying, okay, I was born with this playing talent, then the moves, and like literally dancing for one of America's biggest stars back then when she was in South Africa. And to you now saying, okay, let me write something. What was the transition like? What was going through your mind when at that moment in time in your life?
I mean, at the time, I'm young, and with find I find. Every single day you're just trying to do something new and you're trying to experience life, to the fullest, as much as you can, because also, where we come from, there aren't too many things that are given to us. So you just go out there and you try get something, grab something. So, curious mind and literally bonitiski, you're like, I'm going to do that, you see, like,
Chiga machiga, I'm
you're
going to
like,
do that.
I'm going to try that, and so on it goes, So it wasn't really about, I put a lot of thought into it, It was literally me just moving based on inspiration and emotion at the time, I'm like, I'm going to try that, You'd see something, maybe it was like You Got Served or Step Up 2 or whatever, and you'd like, I want to try that, Then you'd hear like, you'd see rappers and you hear what they're saying and you're like, wow, but I can do that too, So I think it's that childlike spirit, man, and I'm trying to go back to that place actually where nothing is impossible, and like I said,
You just did it because you enjoyed it and you were intrigued by it.
Yeah, at the time it was just interesting.
You were a very curious child because you went as far as learning how to play a keyboard, right? Yeah. And I found that so cute because it's like, okay, here's this young boy who is literally trying everything that's he sees because he thinks the world is his oyster. And while you were learning how to play the keyboard, you came across a pro, Eminem's, and those are some of I'd like to say the influential styles of hip hop that also made your light shine brighter. What are some of your influences? Because you take pride in where you come from, Nikaslako. So what Ekaslako is one of the biggest influences where you're like, if it wasn't for this, I don't even think I would be pushing as much as I'm pushing right now.
Well, that's a good question because I never really saw anything, growing up obviously between Kempton Park, Timbisa, and also Bridge Acres. There's a place called Bridge Acres. We didn't have role models. There was nobody that you could really look at and be like, I want to be like that
When
guy.
I grow up.
So we'd always find them from somewhere else. It would always be people in the media, you know. For instance, we know DJ Spoo, but beyond that, it will always be people that are outside from where you come from, you know. So my biggest inspiration growing up was just trying to find something to do, you know.
Okay.
Like
Try to be busy.
yeah,
Okay.
I'd be inspired by people that are doing something, you know. Will Smith, Ronaldinho, Pro Kid, I could say those were my big influences. I always wanted to be a shining star, and I looked at them and how good they were at what they did, and I just saw myself becoming something like that, you know.
You know what I find interesting? All the three people that you've just mentioned right now are very big brands in every single creative thing that they do. And all these, Ronaldinho, the soccer player,
Yeah.
you like soccer. You know,
Yeah.
Will Smith, the actor and entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You're venturing into that. And then there's Procrit, the rapper. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like you see yourself in all those people
Definitely.
molded in one person.
Definitely, I needed to see myself in them in order to believe that I could be them. You know, with Ronaldinho, like just the joy that he had playing football, and you could see it, man. He never used to fight on the pitch. He just like, bekumnandi for yena, he'd get the job done, but you could tell that he's enjoying it, right? Flashy, superstar, and it was appealing. You know what I'm saying?
I see it, yeah.
It was very appealing. Then you get someone like Pro, ghetto superhero, and beyakhuluma izinto esizijwayele vele yabo izinto zaselokishini, so easy to relate to, and I just looked at people like that and ngizitshela ngithi yazini, I want to be like those people. So when I started playing itiski, and I started playing soccer because of Ronaldinho, people don't know that.
Oh, really? I thought it was because your brother was like you were good.
Well, my brother, my brother didn't really care that much, but he was like, I remember the moment when he, so I don't want to go too deep into my brother, but like there was a time where he was away from the family for years, and when he came back, he found out that I stopped playing soccer, and he was mad, he was mad. He's like,
Why?
everybody knew that you had something there. Like, why did you stop? And I felt like, and I was mad at him because he was gone for so long. And I was like, but you don't know
what I went through.
Yeah, you don't
when
know
you
why.
Were gone.
Yeah, you don't know what's been going on since you were gone. So I started playing it because I saw Ronaldinho and just how incredible he was at what he did. Like I said, Jabulile, skillful, very skillful, and I was like, I want to be that.
And he showed his skills off on the field, because I remember he used to play for Brazil, ne?
Yeah.
I the first time, a cousin of mine was also very obsessed with Ronaldinho, and he would literally analyze his every move and how he would tackle the ball.
Yeah.
So I see the vision.
You know what I'm saying?
I see the vision.
Yeah, man. And like I said, when it came to a Pro Kid, it was more relatable. It was like, yeah, we look sheen fine now,
If he can, you can too.
Yeah, chilled guy. He wasn't really flashy at all. He was just ghetto superhero, like,
Speaking of people that are unflashy, you're worth R1 million. Did you know that?
Yeah, that's what they say.
You're worth R1 million.
On Google, I was so shocked. I was like,
you're worth R1 million, and you're such a down-to-earth spirit. Even when, when I spoke to you for the first time, you were such a down-to-earth person. Like, it shocked me because I've come across a lot of rappers and creatives, right? And you always see that sense of nigga, I know I'm good. But with you, you're such a down to earth person, and here you are, this humble, creative, and then you're worth R1,000,000. How do you then?
Who comes up with this stuff?
I don't even know, but I know that you're worth $1,000,000. That's what I know. I can't tell you my sources, but
We'll have to review that. We have to hear which low would be
we tape.
Yeah, we tape because like million. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So how do you stay grounded and how do you stay true to yourself? Because a lot of people lose themselves. You've been in the industry for about 12 years.
Yeah.
Literally 12 years. That's someone's age.
Yeah.
How have you...
Well, sorry. Yeah, I've been rapping. I think when you say being in the industry, it's a different story because there's a time where you break in and then people get to know you. You get to know people in the industry. Hasn't been that long, but yeah, I've been doing this for like about 12 years. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So how have you managed to keep yourself like true to the essence of who you are?
Yeah. That's a very good question. Because there's no like ritual or routine I do every day that keeps me grounded. I just think, it's constantly chasing something that's bigger than you.
Mm.
So you understand that you cannot be big. You understand what lento ifunayo is bigger than you anyway, and you just gotta keep on moving every single day. You just gotta keep on trying to do something. You can never feel like you've arrived, especially not me, because there's still so much that I want to achieve. And, Abantekasi, they feel like I've achieved a lot. But I know, even in the landscape of the rap game itself, I haven't even hit the pinnacles that I'm trying to hit.
You're trying to reach.
And a lot of people would agree, people expect a lot from me. I expect a lot from myself. So it's not even a battle for me in London.
Because it's a daily thing.
It's a daily, yeah.
It's just who you are.
Yeah, every day you're trying to do something.
Is that what fuels your perseverance?
Yeah. I mean, I'm relentless. I don't want to give up, And I've come close, but...
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've come close.
We all have those days, right?
Where it doesn't look like you fit into a certain thing and doesn't feel like there's space for you even in this world to achieve what you want to achieve. It starts looking far-fetched, especially when every single day you're trying to break certain barriers, Kubanzima,
You, growing up, ne? I used to listen to the likes of WHP, Zola, Pro Kid, Dumi, and you remind me of that. Like, you remind me of my childhood and what hip-hop meant because of the way that you speak, because of the stories that you've told, even about your family and your brother. And I want to know who's your core audience, because for me, I'm a diehard hip-hop fan. But for you, when you rap and you get in the studio, who are you trying to reach? Whose life are you trying to change? Because music is a life changer.
Yeah. I mean, if I had to break it down to you, it would definitely be Ndwana Sekasi, yabo. But when I make music, I always tell people, especially people that I work with in studio, people that I'm trying to groom, I say, essentially you only make music for one person. Every single day you get into studio, you must understand that you're making music for one person. And once you understand that language speaks to every single person in this world, is when you're going to become a good songwriter. You make music for one person, right? And it's a tough concept to break down. But I'd always tell them, stop trying to, please everybody,
else.
And essentially what you want to do is to find those, those frequencies that connect with every single person on this earth. That's how you can listen to it, and maybe Nick can listen to it, and you'd get a similar feeling, but Nick might not understand what I'm saying, because essentially I made it for him too. It's one person. You know what I'm saying? So
I get you.
Even though I have a target audience in terms of Gunabantu, a certain group of people or type of people that are more, that
will gravitate
towards
it more.
A little more, But essentially,
it's one person.
You can't argue that, for instance, Miriam Makeba was a great musician, even if not everybody might have liked her for instance. Maybe you might have liked her, but the next person might have been like, oh, okay, I don't listen to this. But essentially, after she's done with her entire run, you find Uti, you've bumped at least one song from her.
Facts.
And you're like,
I like this
You know what
one
I'm
song.
saying?
Even though it's one song.
Yeah.
But I like it.
You like it, you know? Because essentially music is a universal language. And this is the reason why I don't cuss in my music, you know? Because I've always wanted Guti. You know what I'm saying? I don't want your mom turning it off.
And saying, we are together.
Yeah, you know? Because that is my one moment, one time to reach your mom. You know? That's my moment. And I don't want to miss that moment. I don't want whoever to listen to it and be like, you know what I'm saying?
That's like it reminds me so much of my childhood because I remember on SABC1 there was this on Fridays they used to play only strictly hip hop and kwaito, right? And that's when all abantu abadala, your uncles, the kids, the teenagers, your brothers who are in their 20s, everybody tuned into that. And I understand what you're saying when you say that you legit making music for one person.
One person.
Because we're one nation also.
You know what I'm saying, bro? You know, if I speak about Love Brown, when you understand,
yeah.
No need can understand.
you know, yeah,
because you know, and that's why I try to simplify my music so much. People don't realize that, you know.
It's so simplified yet so meticulously packed because the word choice is insane. Like, it's crazy how it's so simple. You can hear what you're saying, but it's so sweet to the ear because I hear you and I understand you and I understand the wordplay of these simple words that you're using. Yeah. Like, your cadence is insane, you know?
Yeah.
You are an award-winning artist, right? But, okay, so what I do is I listen, before you come through, I thoroughly listen to 3 or 4 albums, right? Or like 2. And when I was listening to, it's 18 Flow.
18 Flow, yeah.
18 Flow. There's a song called 5 Grand. Ne? You won an award. And in the song, like, you're coming and critiquing award shows and critiquing radio stations for Payola and critiquing TV shows for making people literally sell their souls just for that 3 minutes of having their music get played. Have you lost faith in the award and exposure system that is radio, that also has a big influence in pop culture, and your TV as well? Have you not lost faith, but have you stopped making it part of the journey of your career?
Yeah, I mean, okay. Firstly, 5 grand. It does tackle those issues, but you know, there's more important things that I tackled over there. But we'll get into that. On award shows, which is the first song on 18 Flow, that's where I'm sort of like coming at, you know.
I must say, I like your samples, hey? Like, I love them. Okay, yeah?
Yeah, sure. Have I lost faith? I mean, it's difficult to say, right? I'm in the industry now. When you're inside, you get to see a lot more of what goes on. You start to understand certain things differently. And you start to understand that, okay, maybe the fact that, you know, that person bought the award is not really such a bad thing. And I'm saying this to say this, right? At the end of the day, who decides? Who is to decide?
Who's deserving? Who's more deserving of getting that award?
Because yes, rap is a competition, but music isn't. You know, how do you decide that you touched this person better than this person touched that person? That artist touched that person. There's really no metric for it, you know. And yeah, we measure. I'm not measuring tape. Yeah, well, it's like, this is music. It's for everybody, you know. So when it comes to things like buying awards, it's just a race. That's why I don't really care so much about awards. It's just a race to get people's numbers up, you know, sort of like push you forward as an important artist. But at the end of the day, it's always going to be about abantu batanda ini, bamamela ini, what they get from your music, you know? And on one day they can listen to you, the next day they listen to this
Someone
person.
else.
So how do we decide which you should get the award and this person shouldn't? You know? For me, it's more important which how do the people receive your music and what do you mean to people? You know? So when it comes to, like I said, when it comes to buying awards, it's just people being people. You know, you buying it because Gafana, the
Even if you wanted fair and square, it wouldn't matter.
It wouldn't. It is Gafana because like who is to decide really? It's 6 people or 10 people in a table like this, and they decide.
And who are those people? And
Who are
why
those
are they deserving to decide who? You know, I never thought of it like that. Like, I literally never thought of it like that because...
It's not us. It's not us that decide.
You know?
You know, it's not. I mean, have you ever really had a say in Gucci? This has been your favorite artist, hip hop artist. Like, oh, I like Jabba more than the one that I like Pro.
No.
Therefore, Jabba should have won it. Or you've never been in a position to decide that, but you listen.
But
to
I'm
the
the one
music.
that listens to the music every day. And the one thing I love is you say that today you could listen to someone else, tomorrow you listen to someone else, because I relate so much to that, because today I could feel like listening to Touchline, strictly Touchline, and then tomorrow feel like listening to Tyson ST or Tato Soul or Big Star Johnson. You know what I'm saying? Like days aren't the same and our moods and feelings aren't the same.
Exactly.
So I get you. Ooh, that's some enlightenment. You brought some enlightenment to the drop. But anyway, have you ever, side note, have you ever paid Biola or been in a position where someone was like, cough up?
Nah.
Really? You're very fortunate.
I think I am.
You're very fortunate. What's your perception on everything going to the internet? Because considering your age, Rwanaba SABC 123, ETV,
Yeah.
ne? And then now our younger sisters, our brothers, our friends' kids
Right.
are like the internet kids.
Right.
What's your perception on music moving from solely depending on TV and radio to the internet?
It's evolution, you know, and that's important because things have to change, right? The beautiful thing about it is that it puts more power in the hands of the artist. You know, I mean, our forefathers were exploited. You know, obviously it's not. I mean, even in the past few years, you know, the record label issue has been coming, you know, more in the spotlight because it was pretty high profile. What the certain things that would happen, you know.
And they were taboo and unspoken of. You
know what I'm saying? Because obviously you fear, Uti, if I speak about the fact that this guy used to do this to me.
You'll be on the line.
You know? And I run the risk of losing whatever I've built and et cetera, which is still a factor because these people are really powerful. However, the fact that the internet exists gives you a little more confidence to be, you know that you're going to be heard anyway. You know? I mean, what could our, you know, what could Ahmad Manuel to do at the time? You know, they couldn't talk to the people directly. You know, so
they depended on that. That was their only source of getting anything out there.
You know what I'm saying? But even when it comes to matters like those, who's talking to the public? It's the newspapers. You know?
And we all know that it has propaganda, but okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's all, even when it comes to a headline, it's gonna there's Biola there. You know, if I pay you off to write something about somebody,
facts,
then you'll do that.
Facts.
You know, but if I've got my phone, and I can communicate with my fans, I can tell them my version of the story,
of the truth.
And that's the beautiful thing about the internet. You know, obviously there's many other aspects. A lot of positives, a lot of negatives. Even with the music being on the internet, there's a lot of negatives. A lot of positives, but I think being an artist and understanding Witty, this gives me a little more power to influence, you know, and to
you're more in control of what you say and what you get out there.
Yeah, you're more in control, and control is everything in this life, you know. controlling yourself, controlling your thoughts, controlling your emotions. What you can't really control is perceptions, but you can do a good job. You know, you can do a good job at getting people to view you a certain way, but also if they decide that we see you differently, that's them. You know, that's why the internet can become such a toxic place, because people put so much expectations on certain things, and you go in there, you read, oh, that's what a successful relationship looks like. Oh, baby, you're not doing the things. Yeah, well, that's. But
you can't. It limits your thinking capacity to think on your own and make your own decisions because of what the majority is showing you and what is being put out there.
Exactly.
Speaking of control and having a job, your job is to make music. What's your take on people saying that hip hop in South Africa is dying? Personally, I don't think hip hop is dying, because shows like The Drop has introduced me to so many artists and so many creatives who aren't on the commercial level, but who are releasing good, proper music. And being a follower of hip hop, it's like a daily thing for me to constantly see what's new, what's you know what I'm saying. Whereas for an average Joe, that's not necessarily what they got in mind. So what do you got to say for people that say, oh no, hip hop is dying? Because right now, other genres like your neo souls, your amapianos, you know, your even goms here and there is still making more waves than hip hop at this point in time. So do you think that hip hop is dying in South Africa because other people are shining?
No, not at all. I think the problem begins because hip hop is so competitive. So it makes sense why people would attack hip hop. You know, some of the biggest stars we have are hip hop artists. They make headlines on a daily basis. You know, hip hop just has that spirit. So it would make sense to me why people would scrutinize hip hop and say, hey, hip hop gets so. I will, however, say, Uti, I think, yes, the control has changed. You know, it's shifted in terms of where, you know, the guys that came before us took it versus where it is now. And that's not necessarily the emergence of any genre or it's just the fact that I think, you know, with hip hop we moved so far away from the people of South Africa in terms of when we what we make in studio. You know, it's not relatable anymore. It's not that relatable anymore. And naturally that's that people are going to shift away from it, right? Because we don't understand what you're saying. We don't understand what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
I like that you say that because I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, I think it was a week ago, né? And he was saying that one of the reasons that an artist could be very big in South Africa and not even make it to a small stage in other countries and other continents is because they're only using their creative aspect that only relates to South Africans. And if you get to a different country, they can't hear you, they can't understand you, you're not relatable to them because you only box yourself into a certain box of saying this is the only way I'll ever make music because now I'm blowing up in South Africa, and because this is my target market, I'm only going to make music for this specific, you know, group of people, right? So I want to get into your music. I checked out.
I'd like to dispute that though.
Okay.
All right. I don't agree with that. I don't think that's the reason why singangeni, you know, maybe urkant or whatever.
Why do you think is the reason some artists don't make it overseas but have greatly made it in South Africa?
It's a different market. It's a different, besides market, it's a different space. It's a different challenge. Global versus Mzansi, it's night and day. You know what I'm saying? A lot of music pops not because of how good the music is, but because of the deals that are struck in the boardroom, the good business decisions that are made.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's
I see you.
It's like saying, why don't we have any great exports in terms of itiski? You know, we play football. They play football, right?
But who's making the decisions?
the talent is there, right? But there's a lot to consider. You know, we can't just put it down to because you make music a certain way. I mean, I think Amapiano can really go as far as possible because it's different, and you know, it's the best representation of a modern sound right now, a South African sound.
But also inclusion, because as much as, for instance, Amapiano, I agree with you, can go a long way because it's different. But an Amapiano song that gets to London is not going to be the same Amapiano song that's in South Africa. The core root and essence of it is the same, which is like hip hop. The core root and essence of hip hop globally is the same in every country. That's why there's like French rappers, you know, there's UK rappers, American rappers, South African rappers, but including, like, having the sense of creative inclusion, of making sure that it's relatable to other people as well. I think that's also part of the reason.
What makes it relatable?
The stories that people tell and how they tell it. Because it's one thing to say, I grew up poor, but you can't say I grew up poor and then the music video is in a Bentley. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's a form of contrast, because now if you're saying you grew up poor, let me see the real you. Let me see you walk down your street so that I can also, because now when I'm here, you know, have you seen how if you hear a song, before you see the music video, in your mind you're already envisioning what that environment or the scenery looks like. Now, if you have a visual that contradicts what you've made up in your mind, you're not gonna gravitate toward that person anymore, because it's like, so visually I'm not attracted to what you're saying, what you're selling me. You understand?
So then don't you think, Kuguti, the reason why it doesn't pop or can't is not because it lacks relatability, but because it lacks authenticity? Because with what you're saying, because we telling stories that only we relate to, right? Then when we go Orkant, they don't relate to those stories. But then why is it that we relate so much to American music? Why am I Kulumu Kanye West or Kulumu Jay-Z? Seem understand.
Like, yeah. But also
we understand. Sorry, we understand what he's saying when he says, "I grew up like this."
I agree.
Right?
I hear you.
I think the problem is
how they say it also.
Yes, you know what I'm saying. Obviously, maybe that's a language thing, right?
Yeah,
but we've got artists that rap in English, you know, over this side. You know, I'm one of them. I do both. You know what I'm saying? But what happens? You know, what happens in when it's time, manje, ukuthi say music say work can't. What happens? I don't think it's necessarily only the stories. The reason I spoke about authenticity is Gucci. I believe Gucci, the most authentic South African artists are more likely to take us further in terms of, you know, a global, you know, as opposed to Umuntu that we might argue relates to the American market, but
not to us.
But you know what I'm saying. At the end of the day, it's two different places. But like I said, we governed by the same principles as Abantu. Therefore, we understand when Jay-Z akhuluma, you know what I'm saying? Surely naye anga-understanda. Touchline magathi excess bani ngikhulanga na 5.
The fundamentals are the same.
But manje if Touchline uthi I'm worth R1 million. I don't know who came up with that. If Touchline says that, you know, like manje sengifuna ukuya America.
Yeah, manje you think
America.
Now you think, I get you perceptions.
So, you know, be true to yourself. I think that's, you know, show machozi, Focalistic, you know, they had you know, relatively they had some good runs, you know,
as well.
and the music is
to wrap up this question, let's say, because you say it's like day and night, rather be a sunset or a sunrise.
What does that mean?
Like, it means that you need to include both the day and the night in order to make it anyway, because everywhere around the world there's always a sunset and a sunrise.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
So that also relates to the music, to say that, okay, yes, if you are in South Africa and this is how you rap and the core root of your creativity, but also include other things that other people and other worlds can, absorb and want to absorb from you.
Yeah.
Get. Okay, hey. Have me on my toes. Okay. Let's talk about 18th flow and 19th flow. Personally, I love 19th flow more. I don't know. I don't want to say it's more relatable because also 18th flow is also relatable. But for me, the beat choice and what you specifically chose to talk about, like Bong Fonele, those are songs where I'm just like, okay, like that's something the guy next door would say. And I get it, but you're just saying it in a more classier, funkier way.
Right.
So, are you working on a new album? Because you only dropped Abafana Bahot and the video.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
We're one of the biggest stars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is like,
a very important guy in the SA music industry, and I believe he deserves more credit.
Then he's gotten.
Yeah, I mean, because obviously, I guess it's because he's still alive, right? Because you know how.
No,
you
but
know how
also I
people
think the thing is he came back into the industry, with a different sound, a different. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like even his regalia, and he was vilified, with what happened with Bono Muzi and Kid X, and even with Tear Gas, and then now it's like he's reinvented himself.
And he deserves a lot of credit.
And he deserves a lot of credit for that.
How many people have been able to bounce back? So, I mean, think about it for me as Ntwana that hasn't even hit where he hit, like even in the beginning of his career.
And he respects you for that. That's big.
Hey man, for me to watch it play out, because I was fortunate enough to have seen him. I think when he came through with Tear Gas, I was fortunate enough to see that.
The Skanda Republic, the Skanda records,
all
situation.
the way to where it is now. It's very interesting. It's like, oh, so you can have that long of a run. We never thought it was possible, but he's proving that.
He killed the gin on his own song on top of a taxi. You know what? Like KO is, I respect him.
Goat.
Real goat.
Yeah.
I'm talking about you now. Are you working on a new album?
I am.
What can we expect from your new album?
More relatable music.
No, more that's stories. Nothing. Exclusivity nyana.
More stories.
So that people can actually,
Yeah.
Are we getting more visuals though? Like.
Yeah. Definitely. That's one big mistake I've made. In terms of not dropping enough visuals. But I know why I didn't drop visuals. It's cool. But there's more. It's gonna be more controlled this time. It's gonna be. The music's gonna be beautiful, but the way we move with the music is gonna be interesting.
Okay, that's a nice choice of words.
Yeah, I guess.
What has been your greatest blessing?
Still having both my parents. Having the opportunity to live my dream. Having my friends around me. Having my siblings. And the hope of something special. Being able to wake up every single day and believe that you can change lives, but also your life can change. Hope is not something that everybody has at this point, There's a lot of things that can suck that out of you, Itemba, that's about Itemba al-Bulali, because, I mean, it's sometimes the last resort is to have hope. The fact that I still have hope, Uguti, things can change for me and that I can become something in this world, that's a blessing.
Guys, it's a wrap. Touchline has said it all. No, but you are one of the most fortunate people I've ever met, eh? To have your entire family, that support system,
Yeah.
Oftentimes people take that for granted because people think that it will be there forever.
Yeah.
And you acknowledging that and living that and also making sure that you don't let them down speaks a lot about the type of person that you are. So, shout out to you.
Thank you.
If you could talk to 15-year-old you, what would you say?
We did it. We did it. We actually did something, you know? You always wanted to be something and like,
You became something.
yeah, but you're still becoming something, you know? You haven't went off the rails. Azangu kaluphe minyawo pe, you know, shabantu, ngene jele, you know? Like, I had hope then, I still have hope today. So, I mean, that kid was already contemplating being a rapper, right? And I became it. I became a rapper, a musician.
You became
You
a
know,
manifestation.
you know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying we did it. We actually made it happen. Somehow, in this tough journey, you know, we found a way to crack something that allowed us to get in. And now the world is ours and we can decide where we go from here.
Just. Like, even if it's just like an ounce of it, like, because it gets tough sometimes, eh?
Very.
Like, it gets really, really tough, especially in the industry. Before I let you go, we're gonna play a game, ne?
Okay.
It's called This or That. You need to pick. I'm not sure if you've seen, but you need to pick one or the other.
Okay.
Ne?
Yeah.
Um.
These games. These games are the ones that get you in trouble.
No, this one is not gonna get you in trouble. Like,
Okay.
the people know. Like, the people here, they know that it's a game.
Okay.
Because they've played this game.
Okay.
That's why they know.
Okay.
18th floor or 19th floor? Pick one.
Yeah, it's so difficult. It's so difficult because they both came at two different points in my life and they were both important for not only my trajectory but for my confidence.
Can say one.
Can I validate my answer then?
Yeah, okay, yeah, you
Can
can.
I?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Lerata hampi ho justify.
We have to.
Us
Gomele.
5K. Each and every one of them wants to justify.
Gomele. That's why 19 flow for me, I think being mature being I was more in control of the decisions I was making, even like musically, and I had more of a direction. 18 flow, I built it, but I was choosing from stories that I told at different points. It wasn't like something that I brought together, you know. But it was 18 flow was rebellion, right? 18 flow was me trying to break out of a certain bondage, and I did it with 18 flow. It's always going to be special because I used music to get me out of a certain situation. There's nothing more powerful than that.
Which one are you picking?
18 flow.
I'm picking 19th floor.
That's beautiful. That's the beautiful thing about music.
I'm picking 19th floor.
I'm glad you are.
picking 19th
One of us gotta go there.
The Dreamer or Tumamina?
Tumamina.
I
Tumamina
figured.
because the entire piece of the music was created by me. I played the keys, and I told the story. And yes, my boys touched it, you know, like Uzoli Khatebe, Shakespeare Nkosi, they touched it, but it came from
you.
Me, like it came from deep inside me. I remember what was happening when I wrote that. It was incredible that it was going to be the first project of my first song of my second project.
I love that it was the first one.
Yeah,
like it was number one.
It's
It set the tone.
Telling the Lord send me.
It set the tone. Makwa or Eddie?
How? How?
They know it's nothing personal.
Oh, that's so difficult. But I've worked with Makwa. Me and Eddie have worked, but we never really got any work out. So, you know, I'd say Makwa for now. Also, his relentlessness, and him not allowing whatever's going on to distract him from his purpose. Then yeah.
Big Star Johnson or Jimmy Wiz?
Yeah. Right.
They know it's nothing personal.
Damn. Yo. Yes.
Kihipapo dog.
I like these. I like them both very much. You know, I'm out to young Tol, and we come from the same hood. You know, so I think let me go with Upik Star. I think Untwana.
Can I? Okay.
I think Untwana, because he managed to, we were speaking about KO and reinvention. Untwana, I saw him going through certain things, especially with his label situation, which I can't.
And his mental health. No, we did speak about it.
Okay.
His mental health issues as well.
And remember, right? We coming from this high school. He starts to pop right after Vuzu Hustle. Has no idea what is in store for him in this industry. It's a cutthroat industry. He goes through whatever he's going through, but he's still got the passion for music. But beyond that, he's still creating other things. I mean, he's got his own like sit down thing called the Process.
Yes.
They doing Tribe Nation now. I mean, and he always says to me, "You're the most relentless person I know." For me, that's relentless. That's
he's
not
also
wanting to give up.
He's ventured into entrepreneurship as well.
You know what I'm saying?
Event making.
And he has his own music school.
Right?
Come on.
It's insane. Insane. Last one. Can I tell you what's beautiful about the drop name? When we had Big Star here, he chose you as well.
Against?
You need to, last one, Zakwe or Beast, because you were in Durban. I remember you went through so many big hurdles on your Durban tour, and it was one of the reasons we're shooting now, which I think this is how the universe works, because you had to then figure out that whole situation first, gather yourself and be good until you can come wholesome on the drop.
Sure.
So, Zakwe or Beast?
Zakwe.
Yo, that was pretty fast.
Yeah, I mean, even though, I respect Beast a lot, I mean, Zakwe has played more of a role in my career, Khudman El Grandi, I ring him up now and then, and he brought me to Durban twice. That for me is a big sign of respect, like for my craft, because and he took me there and he opened my eyes to a lot of stuff, because I realized that I'm so big in Durban and I didn't know.
You didn't know that you were
obviously
that
the analytics will tell you, but once you go there and
you feel the love.
You go on the beach and people are there, like it's a different kind of experience, and I'm always grateful. He put me on my first ever flight. I had never been on an airplane before.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
That's beautiful though.
Yeah, and he did it
That's
twice.
That's mad love.
That's mad love.
That's mad love.
I mean, I'll always be,
his corner.
Grateful for what he's done for me,
Good man. Okay. That's all I have for you. Where can people follow you, book you? Yeah, that's all I got for today.
I got something for you.
What did you got for me?
Nah. I guess what I have for you is to just tell you to keep going, don't ever stop. What you're venturing into is always going to be difficult. Every single day, right? And you are trying to create a platform. But you see, those are the people that do something. When you create something from scratch, those are the people that push humanity forward. So just keep on doing that, and artists appreciate a platform where they can speak about certain things that sometimes they shy away from speaking about in their music, and that a radio interview will never give them, because they only want to know, where did you get the name Touchline? And but you guys, you go deeper with the research, and you care more about where the artist comes from. And that's the power of the internet, right?
That's the power of the internet. This means so much to me. Having individuals like yourself, brighten up my light and tell me to keep going. Like, it means so much, because it gets tough. There's some days where I'm like, I don't even know where I'm gonna get the next episode. I don't even know like what I'm gonna do to edit, or the graphics or whatever. And just you giving me that, like, means so much for me, because I understand what goes into making this platform and making individuals see you guys for the humans that you are. Because I always felt like I've always wanted to see like the artists that I listen to and just have a conversation with them. And this is a platform for your listeners and your fans and your supporters to have a conversation with you and ask you questions that, you know, other bigger radio stations or channels won't necessarily ask you. So I really appreciate you coming along, being on time, sticking to, you know, your promises. Like, it really means a lot. And I'm glad I got to meet you. Like, I'm really glad I got to meet you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Like I said, I appreciate it, you know. Keep on doing it, man. You know, uzobona, you'll thank yourself in a year's time. You'll know why it was important for you to keep going.
Oh, thank you so much.
Sure.
And that is a wrap, my beautiful people. Listen, that was one of the most biggest learning experiences, interviews I've ever done. And I'll always say this. Every single individual that comes through to the drop is themselves, and I live for that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on all social media platforms, The Drop Uncensored. You know how we do it, baby. Kalibitakin Rin Tintin, your favorite Black Barbie. Signing out. Thank you. Until next time, mahalo, everybody.